Well, happy Eclipse Day for all of you who are tuning in to the CIRF report on the 2nd of October. So the eclipse has not, as of the time of this recording, has not even happened yet. That happens later this afternoon in my time frame, central time frame. And massive storms just decimating everywhere really goes to our energy window. We'll talk about that later, but the big news this week, we have the Libra Garden beginning budding with Jupiter station. So let's go. We need to figure out what the energy is, and then more importantly, what set of behaviors are key to keep in mind and how to behave in order to maximize our effectiveness in this energy. Here's the energy. And it's big. We've got the eclipse residual. We have, this is starting on Thursday, the October 3rd. This CIRF week, we're not even going to get a first quarter moon. So we're in the very beginning days of two lunar cycles. You got the 30-day Libra new moon cycle, and then we have the 6-month eclipse Libra cycle. And both of those just at the very beginning. And so it's the Libra garden is budding. It's confirmed by the I-Ching. The I-Ching last week focused on the days leading up to the eclipse. This I-Ching focuses on the days, obviously, after the eclipse. So fresh start. That's a perfect match to a waxing crescent moon. The imaginative builder with our retrograde far out distant planets, and then Jupiter station. All that represents this expansive budding kind of a growth feel, but at the very early stages. The Dreambot cycles of time. Basically, the Dreambot is demonstrating a lot of the eclipse and the grand water trine. As well as the Jupiter station. That was the consensus of wisdom, but the consensus of wisdom, the consensus word, it has to do with the agreements that we've been seeing in the past weeks, although those are all lower on the list. It denotes a sort of a Libra flare. So it's a combination of the Jupiter wisdom. Jupiter is not in Libra, but there is that Libra, obviously, Libra influence. Sun in Libra, if nothing else. So we have the grand water trine. 2 of those legs go exact this week. We have Mercury square Mars. We'll talk about that. And then later in the week, Jupiter goes station. That will be for 4 days. All right, that's the overview. Let's get started. And a big shout out to the Zen Yeti 3076. You won this week's Best Comment Award. My chronological age and paying back for choices of youth. Do notice the great balance always comes. It really does keep things in check so far. So, way to go, Zenny. You rock. All right, next, Dreambot. Yep, a lot of words. As I mentioned, the word September is finally coming down with a lower surge score, and other words coming up. Now we're starting to get the days of the week. That's interesting. Those baselines will change. All right, so the red is just all about cycles of time, including now and before, still, ever, continuing back. So it's just all these references with the definite words of like specific times, like Wednesday and September dates. So cycles of time, that seems to just be a constant thread now. Consensus wisdom is in the black, but that's the blue arrows. Those are the similar words, including the word know, K-N-O-W. And the yellow is the tribe of outsiders. This is the one I find the most interesting because these are the newest words. Anonymous is down here, but anonymous is an outsider. Weird are the outsiders. It's definitely a community feel. So a lot of Libra in there, but a lot of obscurity or anonymous or maybe some censorship, possibly. So there's that. All right, let's get into the astrology. We start with the big picture and start funneling down into the day by day. So the biggest is the eclipse cycle. Here's what we have. We're in this band all the way into the left. This is a brand new eclipse cycle with all the new moons on the top and all the full moons on the bottom. The next eclipse will be the lunar eclipse on March 14th, and that'll be in Virgo. And right now, this 6 months, though, is ruled by Libra. So all of these new moon cycles, these shorter term cycles, will be in service of that, whatever new moon is. And then that whole chunk will be in support of the bigger eclipse cycle. The energy window is something I've come up with, but I haven't been able to maintain it. This is our last current energy window. So we're in the energy window number 15. It's called the Magellan of the collective tempest, meaning we have a pressure cooker, we have lots of water, storms. This is a perfect match for the Carolinas. I was thinking more energetically. I didn't think it was going to be a literal hit, but North Carolina, we have the very similar. It's happened in Iowa. And the storm effect down in Florida and all the other states that I'm not mentioning, Tennessee, and people actually, just sad how we have apparent land grabs. We have people getting arrested for trying to help and rescue. It is BS. But I mean, that's another storm on top of the storm effects. It's like a layered storm. But we have this, the grand water trines, and the way it's laid out gives us the ability to be poised, experienced, use our experience to be able to navigate this absolutely unique, new, never seen before kind of level of obscurity and storm. So there's that. All right, now into the month, or into the week, actually, into this week. We're just post-eclipse here. We're in between these two vertical lines. And so what you don't see is that's Mars. Where's Jupiter? Jupiter is up here. Jupiter is going to start to go station, and then into next CIRF report, it'll go retrograde. Next CIRF report will have Pluto going station and direct, and that'll be interesting as well. You can see the grand water trine is with these greens here. We have Mercury square Mars. We'll talk about that. And the next full moon is not in this week, obviously, but later on the 17th, and it'll be in Aries. Here's another look at the energy profile, and it's high. This is the Libra garden and is budding energy. It's the sort of expansive feel. Knowledge, wisdom is budding. Everything's budding. It's not like you're all that confident, because there's a newness to it. New cycle, new eclipse cycle, new Libra lunar cycle, 30-day cycle. All right, day by day now, Thursday the 3rd. Here is what we are dealing with all week is the grand water trine. That's the poised sea captain. This is the picture I was trying to show earlier. It's the old sea captain, deeply attuned to the vast ocean, able to ride out turbulent storms. He has weathered many emotional voyages. And then, as you're going to see, there's a lot of art, creativity in here. There's a lot of passion when we're talking about Venus and Mars. And two of these legs on Venus in Scorpio. So love, art, expression, connection, and even finance. And so we'll talk about when those actually go exact. But the other important thing that underlays all this energy all week long, all month long, all month of August, October, all month of November, and into December is this triplet in green, and its pinnacle is Neptune retrograde. All three of these far planets, Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, are in retrograde currently. It's the visionary architect. Remember, it's basically being the master builder. Your thoughts become real, being able to manifest practically what you're envisioning. So it's a blend of creativity, innovation, and discipline, but also change. If you're not in control of this change, it'll feel overwhelming at how much change is coming from other people's visions. So it behooves all of us to keep in mind, keep in vision what the world is that you want to see. Don't be so accepting of the vision that everyone else has necessarily, unless it matches yours, then that'd be great. But don't just go with the flow. Well, not with this triplet in green. All right, now on Friday the 4th at 12:03 p.m. Central Daylight Time, or Daylight Savings Time. So there's a time change in here somewhere, I think. I'll look that up, but make sure you look that up too, because I failed to do so. I don't know when that time change is. I think it's BS anyway that we have to do it. All right, Venus trine Saturn goes exact 12:03 p.m., 12:04 p.m. on the 4th of October, and it's the alchemical artist. Here's your image. It's the intensely imaginative, deeply sensual, powerfully transformative, yet highly dedicated flavor, because we have the commitment of Saturn with the love planet of Venus. And it's like an alchemical tirelessly working to transmute dark raw materials into philosophical gold through the labor of love. This is a great potential here for manifesting dreams and desires through focused passion and visionary creativity. It's a perfect match to what we just talked about with Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. Perfect match. Might feel this leg here on Friday the 4th might feel a little more like seeing relationships as a vehicle for growth. Might feel unique combination of intuition, emotion, and self-discipline. Disciplined to be able to read your intuition. Very intuitive. But you can also get intense feelings in terms of relationships. Maybe so intense that you want to avoid inner work. You might struggle with jealousy, control issues, or power dynamics. Saturday the 5th, we have the waxing crescent moon. Remember, we're not even going to get to a first quarter moon this CIRF week. So just the early stages of these cycles in the lunar cycles. And we have now the moon passing over Venus. And so this leg, or this point of the grand water trine, becomes much more emotional throughout the day on Saturday the 5th, and maybe even obsessive. And so things that are obsessed about will be things like love, relationship, closeness, connection, maybe even obsessed about it. Sunday the 6th, now the focus is on the contention in the week. We don't worry about these squares over here. This is Jupiter square Neptune, Jupiter square Saturn. And that's because they're so subtle. They're further out planets, but they're in such large orbs. Clearly the contention, if there is any, is going to be related to Mercury square Mars. That goes exact at 1:36 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Daylight Savings Time, sorry. Okay. And this is the tactful fighter. Unfortunately, pressure to blend communication with the planet of action and assertiveness. But a Mars in Cancer is going to be much more of a defensive protector. And so we have this complex dance between desire for harmonious interactions and the need to express emotional needs or protect personal boundaries. It's like a tactical fighter who strives to maintain grace and poise while also standing up for themselves and their loved ones. So, with this, despite the loving, intuitive nature of the grand water trine, you'll add this little potential for pressure to mediate conflicts, even though maybe e- even the Aquarians, the air signs who have a natural inclination to just more observe, will feel compelled to go into this conflict to mediate it, urge to protect equality and justice, persuasive communication skills that can inspire others to help protect. All right, Monday the 7th, this is when Jupiter begins its station. And because it's a little further out than all the other closer planets, we have a station that lasts like 4 days. So it's going to go exact, where did I put that? On Friday the 11th. It'll be a full retrograde. So that'll be in the next CIRF report. But for now, Jupiter stations, meaning it stays at 21 degrees, 20 minutes relative to us in the sign of Gemini. It's the quantum philosopher. And you can imagine the archetypical philosopher. And now in the quantum world, stationing in Gemini represents a significant amplification of the expansive growth of Jupiter within the realm of communication, ideas, and mental agility. It's like a quantum philosopher who is able to hold multiple perspectives simultaneously, constantly seeking new knowledge and understanding, while also disseminating wisdom to others because it's in Gemini. It needs to communicate it, especially with its trine over to Mercury. All right, on Tuesday the 8th, remember our grand water trine, back to that, because this leg, Venus trine Mars, is exact at 5:21 a.m. This is the love shaman. It blends the planet of love and attraction with the planet of passion and desire. The planet of, we just talked about, Mars in another context. Protecting self and possibly getting defensive, but that defensiveness just produces in this alignment much more passion, especially with Venus and Scorpio. Deeply transformative qualities. It's like a shaman who facilitates profound healing and growth through the alchemy of intimate relationships. There is a magnetic pull towards merging on a soul level and exploring the depths of human connection. And then on Wednesday, we have everything we talked about, still very, very strong. We have Mercury square Mars. That's still, 4 degrees orb, so very strong. We have obviously the Sun in Libra still. We have the grand water trine, still very tight. Mars, Venus, and Saturn. We have Jupiter station right here, still at 21 degrees, 20 minutes. And that is in Gemini, plus some other, a lot of other alignments, but those are your dominant ones. And so meld all those together, and you get pretty much like innocence line, but with line 2. Success in your current situation is likely as long as you don't try to measure how well you are doing while still at work. It's the archetype of this hexagram 25 change line 2 is the budding spring garden. This is a time of new beginnings, possibilities, and growth. Like a garden in early spring, there is a freshness, purity, and potential. However, the young shoots are still tender and vulnerable. Challenges are starting to appear like weeds in a garden. So, conscientious care, discernment, and wise stewardship is needed to nurture the true potential. Now, those experienced with these CIRF reports know that I'm not looking for behaviors, and this sounds more like a behavior. And the reason why I'm including that is because that line 2 does direct us to this exact behavior. So that's why I lined it. It is accurate. Conscientious care, discernment, and wise stewardship. But as far as the feeling goes, you have opportunities for fresh start, clean slate, the feeling of renewal, regeneration, purity, simplicity, spontaneity. It's a new environment. The new environment is budding. It's not absolutely here yet. There's pitfalls with this energy, naivety, lack of discernment, distractions, lots of distractions. If you notice that, lack of maturity. Everyone is with all this new information, all these new revelations, and meanwhile being distracted with war and storms and everything else. It's hard to see this newness, but it's budding. All right, let's button all this up. We'll get into the solution. But first, summary. Here's your budding cosmic garden, Libra garden. It's the I-Ching paints a strikingly accurate summary of the big astrological alignments. This week is akin to a budding spring garden, a time for new beginnings. For one, we will still be feeling the effects of the solar eclipse in Libra, a time of fresh starts. Jupiter also stops its forward progress for 4 days and hence emanates growth, expansiveness, optimism, and great wisdom. The Grand Water Trine produces a matured and poised confidence that can navigate, survive, and thrive any cosmically emotional storm, which might be more abundant inside the relationships, as Venus on the point of the Grand Trine has 2 exact trines this week. All right, let's get back to the solution. And we have, when you put changeling in, you get 10, treading carefully. So you must be particularly careful. In the company of brash people, rushing wildly ahead will only bring misfortune. The overall archetype of the suggested behavior set is the sure-footed mountain goat. Behave like a mountain goat, carefully traversing a precarious mountain path. Every step must be deliberate and mindful to avoid losing footing. And yet the mountain goat must be progressing on the journey. It's not just about finding a little vista and looking out. There needs to be some progress. Or not, there doesn't need to be. It's suggested that you make a little progress. It is a fresh new moon. And so in this time period, it's more about planning the next step. But it's not wrong to also keep moving forward. Recommendations are to be mindful and self-aware. Remember, this is a new environment, regardless if it feels like it or not. And developing inner strength and character, demonstrating integrity and proper conduct, steady, sure-footed progress. All right, now we had a lot of, there's such strong alignments this week. It was hard to pick which one was the actual dominant one. And so what we had to choose from was the waxing crescent moon. That was the most appropriate to the innocence. Hexagram 25, line 2 was the waxing crescent moon, is this budding spring period, kind of springish feeling period, even though it's fall. It's an energy, the energy of newness. That's the waxing crescent moon for sure, but because it traverses all these different rave gates and lines, that's not doable. So we had the Grand Water Trine, especially Venus, but even Venus traverses so many rave gates. But Jupiter's station is it's the third in line energetically, and it stays exactly in the same line. So for the last half of our CIRF week, we have hexagram 45 of the rave, and we also have sidereal Taurus, and that's based on Jupiter, which definitely is part of that new garden sort of a feel. It definitely adds to it. Gathering together, 45, the natural and general beneficial attraction of like forces. And look at this. Not only is it 45, it's line 5. And this is Jupiter. Jupiter going to be in line 5, which is leadership. all gathering together must have a center and a focus. Basically, it's looking for the leader, for the glue of the group, the intuitive intellect, and a gift for innovation that enhance the group effort and ensure continuity through respect of the center, the gift for expressing leadership on the material plane. So this is not predicting that a leader will emerge. There's obviously leaders abundant around here, some self gratifying and others who are leaders of the people. But this is not referring to that. It's referring to the energy and the suggestion for you to bring out your own sort of leadership. We all have it in us. Some of us are more leadership driven than others, but we all have this innate ability to lead in some capacity. So let's get back to our solution. And just a reminder, the I-Ching is like the goat, the mountain goat on the mountainside, very careful. Each step is important. We have leadership from the Rave 45 line 5. We have Sidereal Taurus, and we have a waxing crescent moon. And it is post-eclipse, so it's extra waxing. This week is all about leading your life towards the vision that you have been designing for multiple reasons. It is the triplet in green on Neptune. Remember that? The mental builder. And we also have the grand water trine, but we also have this new moon period. The post-eclipse energetic wave encourages as a fresh start set of behaviors. So, because it's new, we need to tread carefully. Just as the I-Ching suggests, new environments, new stages, new levels means that we should always pay attention and step gingerly, but don't be living in fear. Don't live in fear, but you have to pay attention, because if you don't, your subconscious takes over. And the subconscious is programmed to the old. So while your subconscious is readapting to what is new and assimilating, you're going to have to use your mindful attention to make sure that you're not responding to what is old and instead to what is new. The rave suggests to raise the leader within and boldly push forward to this new post-eclipse life of yours. Use the paradox of Taurus to your best advantage, and that is reducing procrastination, because it can be a very good enjoyer and experiencer of life in the now. And that means he can have, or she can have, the potential of not doing anything and still enjoy themselves. So procrastination needs to be reduced by visualizing and boosting commitment towards your highest values, your highest life vision, and the current lunar goals. Ease through resistance. There's one zodiac sign that can do that, and that is Taurus. Ease through resistance. Just slowly crush the resistance over. It's powerful, but it's not impulsive. It's not rushing through it. It is methodical, enduring, and intensely strong. So once you get through that resistance, then it's easy to maintain. It's like a train it's hard to stop. The momentum. Taurus has momentum once you get it started, but it also has momentum with nothing and procrastination. So, got to break the momentum if it's lazy and get going, moving, but not impulsively. Man, that's the hardest part with the Taurus, is getting started. Just get started, reduce your expectation, winnow this task list down to just the most important ones. If you're still having problems, reduce it even more just to get started. That's all you want to do. Just do 2 minutes of start, and you've got it started. All right. It sees the value of pursuing something past the feeling of self-doubt, inadequate, pointlessness. So the point here is getting started so that you have the momentum, especially going towards that first quarter moon, and you keep that momentum going, especially towards your lunar goals. All right, you ready for the plant of the week from Sean Elizabeth Nelson? And to give you an overview, Dr. Richard Allen Miller, in his book Power Tools for the 21st Century, writes, cordyceps represents the true essence of what constitutes a power tool for the physical plane. So in this newness that we're going to be feeling, the Libra garden budding and the Jupiter station, we are going to be looking at cordyceps for mind, body, and spirit and harmony. Cordyceps is a popular superfood fungus often found in mushroom blend supplements. The health benefits of fungus have been known for centuries in Chinese and include increased vitality, anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, antiviral, anti-tumor. And don't worry, I'm not a doctor that can prescribe anything. So you're going to have to use your own wisdom. Don't blame me. Do your own research, make your own decisions, and seek the help of your doctor. The cordyceps fungus induces apoptosis, which is the removal of dead, sick, or low-functioning cells within the body, and it also inhibits RNA transcription in cell cultures, meaning cells don't take in disease or foreign RNA and then replicate from those foreign or diseased RNA instructions. In nature, cordyceps fungi, parasitic attack an envelope insects for survival, which means quite similar to their function in humans. Most importantly, cordyceps increases ATP production in humans, charging the batteries and providing a revitalized, increased energy. All right, you can take a snapshot of that if you would so like and read all of it, have this at your disposal. But love it. And I still, having prepared for this, I was thinking I needed to go get a new batch of cordyceps. I forgot to do it, so I will go do that as soon as I finish this. All right, here's your summary slide. You can screenshot that as well. And I hope all of you have a wonderful week of the budding garden. The new is arising from under our feet. There are captors who have been in charge that are going to try to keep you in the old. So recognize that. Don't be distracted. Don't be distracted from your vision, from your values. And no matter what happens, do not live in fear. All right. Nothing but love and light going out to all of you. Thanks for being here. And I love reading all of your comments. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you next week.